San Diego religious leaders are coming together to address racial issues and how to heal from last week's murders inside the Emmanuel AME Church in South Carolina. Joining me with details are my guests, San Diego's National Action Network President, Reverend Harris, and Vice President Bishop Cornelius Bowser. And I'd like to ask you both, and I'll start with you, Bishop. What are the members of your congregation saying about last week's shooting?
Well, they say it's a horrible incident that happened, and most definitely impressed, especially with what happened in Charleston in the courtroom about forgiveness, because that's what we're about, repentance and forgiveness. And, you know, we talked about fear in our church, so no more fear, to try to remove that, and they agreed, you know, and I think before we had the service, there was, you know, when the incident first happened, there was a little fear, but after that, you know, and reassuring them that God is with us.
And Reverend, you're shaking your head. Yes. Are you hearing the same things, or is it too soon to forgive?
No, I don't think it's ever too soon. I think that you have to analyze the situation and be able to then forgive after you have looked at the in-depth situation.
All right, and Bishop Bowser, I know some of your response that I've been reading about this, the Charleston's killings, is that there's a system that's keeping racism in place. What kind of system are you talking about?
I'm talking about the judicial system, and I'm talking about the legislative system. If you look at the laws that have been passed and how people of color are handled in the court systems, there's most definitely a systematic system in there. You know, if give a quick example, you know, gang laws. With black and brown, you know, when you look at the prison system, 70% is black and brown in prison. So most definitely that system and the court systems, you know, what we heard in Charleston, the judge said that the perpetrator's family was a victim. We don't hear that when it's a black perpetrator, and we'd like to hear the same thing.
I see. And Reverend Harris, now South Carolina has a long history of racial tension, of course, dating back to slavery and Confederatism. San Diego doesn't have the same history, clearly. We're a younger city here. So how would you characterize the racial divide here?
I definitely think it's more systematic. When you look at Charleston, or a place like Charleston down south, you get a lot of upfront, in-your-face kind of reaction to these issues. Here it's more systematic, it's hidden. When you look at our city, you see the beach, you see the palm trees, and it's a very relaxed city. We are a younger city, but we are very relaxed. But in reality, we do have a racial divide and issues systematically that sort of happen, like what Bishop Bowser is saying these issues are inner, they're more systematic, you don't see them, but they're happening. And I quite frankly would rather have the upfront in your face, because then at least I know where you stand. Here's a city where you really don't know where people stand.
And I know I've spoken to a lot of people of color who said that they get pulled over a lot, things like that, subtle ways. Is that what you're talking about? I see. Now, Reverend Harris, or Bishop, let me ask you this. The focus of the National Action Network, what is that about?
Well, National Action Network deals with civil rights issues on a national level. So, you know, here in San Diego, when we had some issues that were locally, but it should have been nationally, national attention should have been focused in that area. That's where National Action Network comes in.
Okay, and what kind of topics are going to be addressed? I know you're developing a forum. The group is developing a forum to address what happened in South Carolina. Can you hit on some of the topics?
Pastor Harris,
all right. Yes.
Well, yeah, so the forum is basically going to bring together some of our very powerful clergy here in the city, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, and we really wanted to strategically do that because of the fact that many times when things happen in our black communities or highlighted our black communities, we want to run to the black community to get answers, and perspective. But I think in this forum we want to bring all different races of clergy, backgrounds and denominations together to discuss these racial divide issues that are even in the church. Dr. King said in the 1960s that 11 o'clock on Sunday morning is the most segregated hour of the week, and that still is happening in 2015, and we're going to have that discussion.
And that's among the clergy. Will the congregation be involved, and,
yes.
And can anyone attend? Really?
Yes, anybody can attend. Their churches will be there, but we want to definitely, as far as the leadership perspective, it starts with the leaders, and until the community sees the church leaders walking together, the flock will not follow. The flock will go where the leader, where the shepherd goes.
Bishop, I'll have to end with you here. What would you like to see come out of this forum and this discussion here in San Diego?
I would like to see our local spiritual leaders come out of the box, walls of the church, and get more involved with what's going on in the community as we deal with these racial issues, whether it's community policing, or whether it's dealing with the judicial system or legislative laws.
I see. Well, we are out of time. Bishop Cornelius Bowser and Reverend Shane Harris, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.